Big up, good people, and thank you so much for finding the time to join us for today's edition of the Blue Morning Show, specifically another Chelsea news. Today we'll talk about non-transfers and transfer and Chelsea transfer news. Also, if anything else emerges as the show progresses, we'll still talk about them. But more importantly, I appreciate you all finding the time to join us this morning. So I say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you. I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone. We'll talk about Ivan Toney, and we'll talk about Victor Osimhen, Ian Maatsen, Mihailo Mudryk, and Trevor Chalobah and Reece James. And then we'll compare the numbers of Ivan Toney and Victor Osimhen to see, you say, to come to the conclusion which of the two players we think the club will sign. We'll also consider other factors, the sort of players, uh, number 9, that we know that the manager likes to play with. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. Yes, people, thank you once again, and thank you for finding the time to join today's edition of the Blue Morning Show, live Chelsea news, also specifically transfer news, a mix of both. But once again, thank you for joining. We'll talk about Ivan Toney, as I've explained. I don't think we have so much to. You can say no need to beat about it, but I'll just say hello to those in the chat and then get straight to addressing the items we have lined up. First person in the chat, Chipchilla, says my brother Ngola Dante. Much love to you. I appreciate you joining, brother. Always nice to see you here. I cannot thank you enough for all the support the community gets from you. It's that time of the year, Jerry Z. Much love to you. And yep, Jerry Z is in the house. Much love. Transfer news already again. Yep. Usually you can say it doesn't have to be the transfer window doesn't have to be open up before you hear people talk about transfers. And I think this is, I must say, the first delicious comment of the day from Oladipo Mesole, my bro. I appreciate you. He says the problem here is who can Chelsea get? I think that should be the most important question. Who can Chelsea get? If you ask me, I'd say getting either of the two players that we'll be comparing today is actually will be very, very difficult. One is he likes Arsenal and I think he says it's a Liverpool fan or something to that effect. The other one will be too expensive in my opinion, but we'll get to them. The problem here is who can Chelsea get? Arsenal is still chasing, is still in the chase for Ivan Toney. It will be difficult for Chelsea to complete the deal. The project looks more attractive to a 28-year-old than us. Okay, than us. Okay. Let's see. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes that do go a long way. More importantly, are looking to buy a new car. It is is it just me, or new cars are more expensive? Yeah, inflation everywhere. So you should know that. And yeah, that should be the most important thing for you right now. Unfortunately, everything is expensive right now. I think the war, you can say uncalled for war in Ukraine, in my opinion, is causing a lot of issues. So yeah, it's affecting a lot of stuff. Plus, Toney is an Arsenal fan, except Chelsea gets into top 4 by January and are willing to give him a better deal, except Bali can pull those of, you can say, one of those of his transfer stunts again and get him. I think everything depends on how desperately we want him. If we really want him, I think we'd pay up and probably end up paying him more salary than Arsenal will be willing to offer him. Toney can go to Arsenal. Okay, so you're already from that. I'm guessing you prefer us as signing Victor Osimhen to Ivan Toney. Okay, big up to you too, JC. Always nice to see you. I appreciate you finding the time to join. Thank you to all of you, and 12 likes already. I appreciate that. But I think we should be doing better than that. And I want to take this opportunity quickly appeal to those of you who are watching, but for one reason or the other, not able to participate in the chat. Just know that we appreciate you. You watching alone does go a long way, but we want to ask you for one favor, one tiny bitty favor. Please do take a second to drop a like on the stream for us. The more the likes we get, the more likes we garner, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered and push the stream to more people who would be interested in the topics we'll have lined up here. So please, if you can, would really appreciate that. 12 likes, but we can do better than that. Coach, what's JC's first name? I don't know. When he first joined us here, he used to go by the name Jesus Christ in full. And then I did find it difficult to call him that at the time, so that was why he decided to abbreviate it to JC to make it easier for me and probably the others. Hello everyone, good afternoon, Coachila. What's good today? A lot of stuff. We have a lot lined up to talk about. Temidayo Oluwarokami, nice to see you, brother. You what Nigerians call every once in every blue moon. That's a blue moon. That's how when we get to see you. But I hope things are okay. Participating in the show doesn't pay the bills. So more importantly, please do let us know that you're fine. It's Jackson eligible for next game against Bali. I am deliberating who should start, Jackson or Broya. Maybe both. I think Jackson, if anything, it will be one match suspension. So I think he should be available for selection. Let's see what else we have here. It was an exclamation I used a coach in a humorous way. Okay, in a humorous way. Okay, I get it. Yeah. Let's see. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go a long way. On Nana. Yeah. Good signing for you guys. I hope you're enjoying it. You're enjoying him. A good signing. We dodged a bullet there. And yeah, enjoy him. I think he's a good goalkeeper. At least he's one of the best in terms of ball distribution. You paid for something. You get something out of him. The money you paid for him will all not be for nothing. Yeah, you miss your goalkeeper. Yeah, sorry to hear that, Rashi. Enjoy. Those things don't happen. And my bro Jerry Z are saying please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing the content on your social media to help us foster a positive environment as our team continue to make progress in the right direction. Yep, I appreciate you if you can do that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Let's get it up. 14 likes. Let's see if we can get it to 100 yesterday. I think yesterday we ended with 71 in total. Onana costing us games after games. I like how truthful you are. Even though we do banter here, you're always saying the truth. Or maybe you're just being proactive here so that you leave us with nothing to banter you with. But that's by the way. Yeah, you've been truthful no matter how what the case is. Rashi, you are in shock. Don't worry. Everything will be all right. I believe so. And I've been told that even the highest start to life at United was also shaky. He made a lot of high profile mistakes. So maybe by the time you find yourself you say 20th in the table, maybe Onana will start performing well. So yeah. Sorry about that, Paul Rashi. Indeed, Rashford and Højlund was cooking. Yeah, Højlund. I'm not too sure about him right now, but I'll pay more attention to him. Try putting Mount as a goalkeeper. Yeah, a good suggestion there. Yes, people keep dropping the likes on the stream. 14 likes. So let's move on to the next item so that we can start addressing the items we have lined up one by one. This is the first one here. This one here says Reece James and Trevor Chalobah hope to be back for the difficult fixtures after the international break against Arsenal, Tottenham, and Manchester United. That will make a huge difference for us, and hopefully, what's his name? The England national team coach don't try to call up Reece James. I hope he stays back and work on himself. The report is quoting Nizar King Seller. So yeah, good news for us. and I think, but maybe I don't know. Hopefully he comes back and stays fit and not just play 2 games and then back to the treatment table again. De Gea was world class shotstopper. His problem was he cannot pass from the back. I think he was manageable in my opinion. You guys wanted to keep him. I don't think his ball playing ability was an issue. You wanted to keep him, but I think he was seeking. He was looking for a fresh challenge or a fresh start. If that's the language you prefer. But the truth is, De Gea had a shaky start. A shaky start to life at Manchester United. So it's nothing new. You guys, maybe that gives your fan base a hope. Jackson will play very well if he has a Palmer putting balls through to him with his runs. I think he will do well. I'm not concerned. Big up to you too, Ray Winter. God bless you, mate. How great is it to have a positive run right now? It is excellent. Uplifting. Yeah, you can see that the negativity has died down a bit. But still, there are people who still bent on finding something to complain about, unfortunately. But yeah, that's why we're fans. We all cannot agree. People always find faults. That's why we're fans. And JC saying, Rashi, if United can spare 50 million, we can give you Kepa. Yeah, Kepa is available, but I don't think they'd be looking to sign him. Tamida says, oh, Coachila, I am sorry for my not too often appearance. You don't have to be, bro. I just wanted to know how you're doing. I hope you've been good. That more importantly, that's how you can say. That's how we talk here. But what I meant to ask was how you were doing. How what to, I wanted to just wanted to know whether you've been good. Participating in the show doesn't pay the bills, and I understand that. So we have other priorities. I've been busy with studies, and we are currently writing. Okay, you're currently writing your exams. Good luck with that, and let us know how it goes at the end. And I hope you do well. Yep, you should stay in school. Your education trumps everything. More importantly, sell Reese Trevor actually or in January for fresh money. I don't think the club will sell. I don't think club will sell Reese James. I think from what I'm seeing, they value commitment a lot. Reese James likes Chelsea. He's always been committed, and the moment they had, you said they brought an offer to the table for him, he didn't hesitate to sign. It didn't take much to come to an agreement with his camp, and they like that. And I still think Reece James is very young. Chances are he'll overcome that in the future. And I see them being patient with him. I don't see them considering selling Reece James right now. Let's see what else. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. A great morning aim. Blessings to you. Tebago, Marc and June, my bro. Much love to you. I appreciate you joining. I hope you're doing well. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. Depending on the price, Toney is a better fit. Okay, we'll get to that in a bit. We haven't talked about, well, we've done, let's not jump ahead of ourselves. Let's take the items one by one as we have them lined up on the screen there. So, Jerry, I'll let you know when I need you. But if you want to come in anywhere, you feel free, brother. But more importantly, I hope you're doing well. Yeah, this one here. Yeah, it'd be good to have them all. Maybe the manager has a plan to start using Trevor Chalobah, and maybe I will be even more defensively solid. And Reece James, yeah, you know what he brings to the table. He can create chances. He can also score goals. So let's move on to the next item we have lined up here. 20 likes. Let's get the likes up, people. The likes do go a long way. And Liam Lane and Glenn 10, if you both are listening, know that we love you all. And Rogers, I haven't reached out to see how you're doing. I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing well. I hope everything is okay with you. And yeah, I'm Bobby too. Just know that we'll love you all. We appreciate you all. You're part of the community. So when we don't see you, we get concerned. But I hope things are all right with you all. So let's move on to the next item we have lined up here. Here it says Chelsea midfielder Moses Caicedo is set to be fit to face Burnley. Mihailo Mudryk, however, was still being assessed today, and it is unclear if he will be available for the game. I hope he's okay because we lack numbers in that left hand side. Because in his absence, the only, you can say, viable option we have there would be Ben Chilwell. Ian Maatsen, I wouldn't mind him playing there rather than Ben Chilwell, but I'd rather see you could say see Mihailo Mudryk play and continue building his confidence. Because in the last 3 games, honestly, in my opinion, he's been one of our best players. I hope he's okay. This is that second part. Yeah, it's a bit concerning for me. For Moises Caicedo, we have numbers, but I'd rather him play. What's his name? Leslie Gochu can do a good enough job. But hopefully, Caicedo will be ready. We need to beat Bali and then go into the international break with, higher up, higher in the table. That will go a long way. Let's see. Yep. Tayo A. Thank you so much for saying that. Let's see what else we have here. Constantine Dente and okay, Master. Yeah, he's masters in human resources management. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Stay in school, brother. And hopefully next time when we do the giveaway, the stay in school giveaway for students, hopefully you'll be the one to win it. Let's move on to the next item we have lined up here. All right, here we have Mauricio Pochettino and his staff have faded Marc Cucurella following improved performances and strong efforts in training. I think the club may well end up not selling him. That's a good player in him. He has Premier League experience, he knows the team, and given that we've made so many changes already, it wouldn't make any sort of sense to go sign you can say to go sign a new left back, and then compound the issue of lack of us playing as a unit or lack of a proper chemistry between the players. But chances are, let's see. I'm not too sure what happens with Ben Chilwell. I think by now the club will be concerned because they'll look at his record and go, "What's going on here?" But yeah, kudos to Marc Cucurella. I've always known that he's a fine player. I've never at any time called for the club to sell him. Because I know there's a good player in him. If anything, I've always argued that we just have to find a way to conduit, mask, or maybe address his deficiency, and then he'd be effective for us. And for the Coolest Chels, my bro, welcome to the panel. I appreciate you finding the time to join. If at any time any of you have anything has anything to add to what I'm saying, you can go ahead and interject. That would be okay. And yeah, I'm glad that they starting to appreciate him. It took the absence, it took Ben Chilwell getting in for him to get a chance to play. Actually, not Ben Chilwell, Malagu's suspension for him to get a chance to start playing. Let's see whether what will happen because Malagusa will not be available for selection. I think it was a straight raid. So when it's a straight red card, I think he misses 2 games. So let's see what happens when he'll be available for selection. Whether the manager will move Cucurella to the left and play Gusto on the right hand side. But let's see. Gusto I think will miss 2 games because he was.
Good morning, coach.
Gusto
won't be available for the Burnley game. He'll miss.
So
that
he will
game.
miss 2 games.
Yep.
2 Premier League games. Right.
Total 3 games. So combine.
3 games in total. Okay.
Yeah. So with Brighton games, so his he has to fulfill the suspension with this game against Burnley. So he'll be available for the Arsenal game.
Okay, more importantly, Jerry, I appreciate you finding the time to join me on the panel this morning. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. Let's move on to the next item we have lined up here. Let's see some country. Give to those in the chat the microphone before we move on to the next item. Well done. Study hard and all the best. Yep, we love people to stay in school here. Yep. Thank you for saying that, Dante. I also don't fancy Ian Maatsen playing on the wing because he doesn't track back. But if we can, in the absence of Mihailo Mudryk, I'd rather him play there than Ben Chilwell. But most likely the manager will prefer Ben Chilwell because of the defensive aspect of the game. You can say he would want him. You can say to help defensively too. So I get your point. It makes sense, but I'd rather Maatsen than Ben Chilwell there. Maatsen does track back and defends very well from great pressure. Okay. Okay. Let's see. A straight red 3 games, isn't it? I think Jerry confirmed that that's the case. So if you receive a straight red card, then yeah, you miss 3 games. So, but if it's accumulation of yellow cards, like 5 yellow cards, I think it's just 1 game, a suspension. Let's see what else we have here. Big up to you too, Bobby. I appreciate you joining in the chat. I hope you're doing well. Yes, people, keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes to go along with 24 likes. You can do better than that. Sterling will play. If Mudryk doesn't play, most likely. So yeah, Sterling can also fulfill the left wing role. And I've heard people actually argue that he's better off playing on the flanks, on the left hand side. Coach, I am watching it in the chat while my treatment is running in. We'll join the panel if it isn't finished at the time. Okay, yeah, but more importantly, we do hope that you're getting well. Much love to you too, brother. You know how much we'll love you here. Let's see what else we have here. And Raphael, it's been a few days. Raphael, how are you doing, brother? I hope you're doing well. Thank you for finding the time to join the show once more. We'll move on to the next item we have lined up here. Okay, this one is saying Chelsea are building a multi-club model to match Red Bull's impressive development pathway offered to young players. Yeah, so it makes sense. If we're going to be signing all these young players, we better have a pathway for development, or you can say a program to ensure they continue to develop, and also a pathway to becoming fostering players for Chelsea Football Clubs. That would be good. Their aim is to have a conveyor belt of talented youngsters available to Mauricio Pochettino's first team. So this makes sense. I don't know if anybody on the panel has anything to add to that. If not, we'll move on from that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. 25 likes.
No,
the
it
likes
just
go a long way. Yeah, go ahead, Jerry.
it just confirms. It just shows that the whole plan of youth signing the youth is like a very long term plan. It's just not a plan for the summer, the strategy and all this long term contracts. So they do have a foundation. They do have a professional plan at place. That is all good, but I will still be concerned if that would limit them or that would restrict them from signing experienced players. So we'll find about that in January. So all in all, it's good as long as they will also be open to sign experienced player or player with potential. They don't restrict to under 25 or stuff like that. So this is one area where I'm concerned. So let's see if they are flexible with that in the windows ahead.
Yeah, I think they're flexible. I think here's the thing: all the youngsters they've signed, some of them will get to play for Chelsea in the future. Some will not. Some will be sold. Unfortunately, some will be eager, you can say, to be part of the Chelsea first team, or they'll be looking to play elsewhere. But it all comes down to how big those clubs will become. The satellite clubs will become. Here's the thing: I think they're open to signing big names, big name and established players. That's why we pay that much money for the likes of Enzo Fernandez. I get it; they're still very young, but those are, you can say, they are established and experienced players. Given how much, you can say, how many games, you can say, games they've played already at their age, at a very young age. But in the future, they will be spending less and less on players. I think that's the plan. But right now, they understand they still have to make some established names or experienced signings. But let's see what happens. Big up to you too, Raphael. Nice to see you there. Let's see. Don't be calling us. Don't be calling us trolls anymore, Coach. Poch keeps that fraud selling for experience. We should have gotten Leroy Sané, who's good and experienced instead of Starlin. Sané wasn't available, first of all. I think we were interested in signing him, but he wasn't available. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go along. We're just at 27 likes. We should be doing better than that. Tuku deserves. Can you stop using such languages here, please? Even if I read that, the channel could get into trouble, brother. Big up to you too, Willie Blessed. It's been a minute, my Kenyan bro. I hope things are all right with you. Big up, Coach. Somebody said Pochettino needs at least 19 games. That's half a season. Because we could see the better part of Chelsea. Of course, that is with all of the players fit. Yes, then I think we'll be all right. I'm not counting how many games he needs. I'm saying progress, and I've been saying that since, you can say, the first game of the season, since preseason actually. So I'm not too concerned about how many games he needs. We're seeing progress, and I think actually we've witnessed the turnaround already. Yeah, so let's see. What else we have here? And my bro Tebago, he shared the link to his YouTube channel. Please go check it out. Be sure to subscribe. Click the name directly there. And Tebago, you should always precede that with a comment saying, this is my channel. Go check it out so people know why you're sharing the link. But let's go check it out there. Subscribe to his channel. Let's help him get 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Okay, he's sharing his YouTube shots there. Go check them out. They're all delicious. I've watched a few of them. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. 29 likes. But yeah, we should be doing better than that. Let's move on to the next item and as soon as possible get to the most important topics we have lined up here. All right, let's see what else we have here in the chat. Tebago, I'm watching you. The boy! Yeah. Much love to you, brother. I appreciate you. How are you doing? It's been a minute. I hope you're all right, and thank you for joining. And this here says Chelsea wanted to sign 15-year-old American Julian. I don't know if I should pronounce it Julian Hall, who last week became the second youngest player ever to play in a Major League Soccer when making his debut for New York Red Bulls. Wow, I don't know him. I don't know how good he is to present an argument as to whether he'd be a good signing for us. But if they're looking to sign him, two things comes to mind. One, he must be a good player, a good talent. Let me just put it at that level, a good talent. Two, they're looking also to still keep hold of the American market since after the departure of you could say let me just say after the departure of Christian Pulisic to AC Milan. But that's just my opinion, and let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. 29 likes. Keep on watching. Yep, keep watching and watching and watching. And Giovanni Jafta asks the question: do you think Kepa's life as a Chelsea player is done now that Sanchez is performing? Even without Sanchez performing, Kepa was never going to be welcomed back at Chelsea. I think Chelsea will be looking for solutions in terms of finding interested club to buy him from us. But unfortunately, he's done some damage. He's done some damage to his valuation. Given he was open, he said openly that he intends to remain at Madrid. He clearly said something to the effect of not wanting to come back to Chelsea Football Club. He shouldn't be doing that. So I don't see him becoming Chelsea keeper again, except if you don't see bias, he comes back. I think I see the club sending him to go train with the academy. He hasn't. I think he did a Lukaku, in my opinion. Go ahead, Tebago. It looks like you wanted to say something.
Okay. Yeah, I think Kepa Arrizabalaga should remain at Madrid. Can you hear me?
Yeah, crystal clear.
Yeah, so all I'm saying that Kepa should remain at Real Madrid after what he said, and which is not helping for a player to say such things after a few weeks or a few months at another team. So after what he said, I don't want him back at Chelsea.
Yeah, I don't want him either. Again, the fans will not like that. I don't think we'll be happy to have him back. He shouldn't have made those comments. It was as if he was just waiting for a way out of Chelsea. And once I think Bayern came calling first, he was eager to leave at the point. Coach, I'm very positive with our club. We are getting better, and that makes me happy. Yeah, I'm seeing progress. If you ask me, he's in the Red Bull model. They are not selling, so that makes sense. This is another delicious comment. I can't believe I'm giving you that honor, but that's a delicious comment. It makes sense. They do the same thing we do, but if we pay them well, chances are they'd let him go. We have to pay something. You can say extraordinary to sign him, but I know they would want to keep him because it's their model too. Yeah, nurturing young players with path to them becoming, you can say, a valuable asset for them, or maybe getting the chance to play for which one? Which of them is their male club actually? Salzburg, right? Is it Salzburg or Leipzig? I'm not sure which one I should call their main club.
I think it's Leipzig.
Yeah,
Leipzig.
that RB Leipzig. Yep.
Okay, that's the main
Yes.
club. Yeah. Okay, so it makes sense. Your argument there makes sense. Only when his value is at the it's high. I think I agree with you, but if we pay them well now, I think they'd have no option than to let him go. So we'll move on to the next item, and thank you for 30 likes. That's a sign. That's a chance we could get up to 100 likes by the time the show ends. All right, this one, I really want us to talk about this one. This says that Chelsea want Ian Maatsen to sign a new deal as soon as possible, and the proposal is still on the table. Followed by our conversations will continue, but there's no agreement. If nothing is agreed upon, Chelsea will consider selling him in January on a permanent transfer. Here's the thing. This one is it's complicated. The club wants to keep him, and I think the manager likes him. But if the manager doesn't see him as a left back, I don't think he has a future at Chelsea, in my opinion. He would want to leave. Because if he looks at the attacking area where we have Christopher Nkunku, who can play as a 10 or on the right hand side or left hand side. We have Cole Palmer, Noni Madueke, just to name a few. I think we still have other midfielders that you can say in January, some of them there's a chance Santos comes back. I don't know. His situation is complicated. Do I think he'd put pen to paper for a new contract? Maybe the manager can get him to do that, but I don't see. I'm not too sure what to make of his situation, except if I see the manager play him as a left back, then I'd say yes, maybe he has a future here. But right now, he'd be questioning where his future lies. I don't think he'd be too certain about that at this point. But let's hear you, Tebago. What do you make of Ian Maatsen's situation at Chelsea?
I said it a long time ago. If you don't have a proper plan for this kid, we better sell him now for his sake, for his future, or convince him to sign a new contract, then loan him to a better club so that he can develop while we're thinking about other plans. So hopefully sign a new contract because he's a fantastic player. But again, I'm worried about his future.
He wouldn't want us to tie him down.
Sorry?
He wouldn't want us to just he wouldn't want the club to tie him down on a long-term contract, and when he wants to leave, it becomes difficult. So I still say he'd be a bit reluctant. He'd be reluctant to sign a new contract, except if he's guaranteed a place in the team. I'm not saying he's starting place, but right now it's not even clear whether he has a place in the team. So if the club cannot guarantee that, I don't think he would want to sign a new contract because we'll tie him down. And if any club wants to sign him, we'll be asking for a lot more and end up probably forcing him to stay. That's just my opinion. But let's hear you, Jerry, if you're there. What do you make of Ian Maatsen's situation?
Yes, sir. The situation is clear. It's not a very complex situation. And with Chelsea's model, the only option is that he puts the pen to the paper, right? And of course, it will be a long-term contract. He cannot request for a contract that is short-term. Given that we have so many players injured and already Maatsen is having difficulty to get into the starting 11, I really don't see him being a regular with us because especially he has not his preferred position is also not identified, right? And with all the players coming back in the next month, it will even get tougher. For Maatsen, of course, he has the potential. He is a good player. He can always convince in training. He can always have a good game that can impact the decision and the confidence of Pochettino in the player. But right now, it seems difficult. Yes, maybe he will sign the contract, and that is the only option that he would stay. So probably I'll see him leaving because still we have to be careful because we will be signing more players in January. So again, we have to balance the book. We still have to sell players because the number of players right now, according to Poch, is still a little bit more than what he expected. But because of the injuries, it doesn't look that way. So come January, I think if and these are all credible reports as well out there, that if he has not signed the contract, then Chelsea will look to sell him. So that looks to be spot on in my opinion.
Yeah, let me check his current contract actually when it expires. Ooh, the official website when Maatsen signed his contract in March 2020, the official website reported it's until 2024. So he has just about a year left in his contract. So probably his contract will expire in June, around June, July of 2024, which means we have to sell him in January. And actually, given the situation, he has the right to start talking with clubs in January. Actually, so in July he'd become a free agent. So I can't forgotten how that works, but this is dangerous, really. And that's why the club is saying a conversation will continue, but there's no agreement. If nothing is agreed upon, Chelsea will consider selling him in January, and that's because he has just about you can say not actually up to a year left. He has a few months left on his current contract, and that's a huge risk. But let's see what else we have here. He's gone, unfortunately. What a shame Poch cannot fit him. It doesn't look like he sees him as a defender, unfortunately. Given what I'm saying there, Coachila, this is an unusual case with our academy graduates. I think Colwell, James are the only ones who signed proper contracts. The rest use time left as a negotiation tool. Unfortunately, I think that has been the case. You can say it's become a pattern. Lots of them, you can say, waited out until they have just a few months left on their contract, and then making, you can say, untenable demands, which has led to some of them leaving. Unfortunately, he's a player I want to stay. I think he wants to stay too, but he wants to be so certain he has a place. He has a place in this particular team, in my opinion. But let's see what happens there. But thank you for that. Looks like it was Coach, I love Gallagher, but it'd be better for his career if he left. Ideally, he should go to Inter Milan. I think he stays at Chelsea. Signs are the managers, from what we've seen so far, the manager likes him. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes do go a long way. What else do we have here? It wasn't that bad. Only time him out if he starts about Gallagher. No, he has every right to talk about Gallagher. You shouldn't time me out because of Gallagher. The only thing we try to avoid is name calling and all of that. Osimhen, to me, we'll get to that in a bit. Chelsea Blue, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Giovanni Jafta, Maatsen isn't needed at Chelsea at the moment. I think it's a safe argument, actually. Or maybe let me say safe assumption. The manager, it doesn't look like he has a place here at Chelsea. Isn't needed at the moment. Not that he isn't good, which he is, but there is no place for him in the Chelsea team. With Colwell considered at left back, do I think that will last? I'm not. You could say there's no telling what will happen, because I don't see Colwell playing consistently in the left back position throughout the season. I think that changes at some point. When, I don't know. But you get my argument there. Ian Maatsen will make it at Chelsea as a left back. Other than that position, I see no room for him in the squad. Sadly, Poch doesn't see him as a left back. Yeah, that's the same argument I've made. My brother just did a tapping for me on me, but I think I think you phrased it better than I said it a few minutes ago. He just doesn't have a place in the attacking area of the team, in my opinion. If he ends up that he does have a place in the team in that area, I'd be shocked, given the names we've mentioned before. But I think he's actually capable of fulfilling the left back role effectively and can progress the ball better than Ben Chilwell.
Coach, also, if we recall, he was almost like we were selling him, and in the deadline, before the deadline, it was almost reported that he will be sold, and for even Gallagher, right? So Chelsea were considering to sell him, but then when the deadline approached, we kept him for whatever reason. Like, what was the final line, we never know. Maybe it's the price tag, or Chelsea decided to keep him with the injuries. So potentially, as you also saw, his contract will be expired in the summer. So no way will Chelsea wait. If Chelsea want to give him the offer, of course, But if he doesn't sign, then definitely there is no other way other than for him to leave in January.
Yeah, I think Tebago, the Coolest Chels mentioned the other day, we had an offer on the table, but he didn't want to go. He wants to stay, and I think probably he was hopeful given how often he played during preseason and maybe the conversation he had with the manager. Because had he gone to Burnley, he'd be playing week in week out. He was a starter for them in the championship. But let's see what happens. I'd rather because I think we could have been better off convincing him to stay with Burnley in the Premier League and play one more season with them in the Premier League. And I think we could have been able to convince him to put pen to paper for a new contract and you can say play the Premier League season at Burnley, honestly. But unfortunately, it's too late now. It's a risk. I hope they find a solution to him, to his particular situation. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go a long way. God bless all the Blues family. God bless you too, Chelsea Blue. 1905. Appreciate you joining. Let's see what else we have here. Maatsen is needed in Chelsea than Sterling. Okay. Let's see. Maatsen is a good left back. Go watch him again. His days. Watch videos of his days at Burnley last season. He was scoring and assisting goals. As a left back. Yep, I know that quite well. But that's the least of my concerns. I'm just concerned that the manager doesn't see him as a left back. Yeah, the area where we've seen the manager deploy him, it's an area where we know we could say we have we're crowded there, and him getting the chance to play as often as he would want, I don't see that happening. Colwell, we get injured at left back, all that running, sprinting movements, sooner rather than later, he is not built for that role. You could say that. It's a solid argument. Says Maatsen can play in attacking position. Where I agree. The question is, if we have all our attacking players back, do you think he still gets to play? That's the question we're trying to answer here. I'd say no. But it's still a left back. He will never be at Chelsea's. He will never be in Chelsea's first team regularly. That's why letting him go is a good choice for him, and not be selfish about it. Let him go and keep developing. Thought some people saying Poch is a pooper because he didn't sign experienced players. Here's the thing. I don't think I agree with that. I think he's a good manager. I think he will come good. It will take time, and I think before he put pen to paper to become Chelsea manager, I think he was properly briefed on the direction the owners want to go. So he's I think he should be able to deal with it. And you can say he got the job because of his reputation as a manager who's known to nurture young players, and we have too many young players. But I think people sometimes, you can say, talk too much about us not having experience. Do I think we need? Do I think we should have signed more experienced players? I'd say yes. But do we have experience now? Yeah, we do have experience. But
And again,
unfortunately, because people often use experience and age interchangeably, so you have to be at a certain age before they start seeing you as an experienced player. Go ahead. You were saying something,
yeah,
Jersey.
I always have to defend Poch. So I just wanted to say very shortly that what the gentleman said is fine, and we do have this reservation. But again, we have to see when Poch was being signed in this 6-week interview process. All of these conditions were set, so he is abiding by. It's not being a puppet. He knows this is what they agreed with. So the model, we all know, we don't have to repeat the model which we are implementing. So Poch has agreed to that. Okay, this will be the model. And Poch also said in the press conference and some other interviews that he is not being assertive as of now. He has said that a couple of times. He will do his thing, he will get the trust, and then he will request them for what he wants. So, which he clarified once the transfer market in August was finished. And in his last press conference, he clearly said that, because people do put quotes when they report on Twitter, but if you see the whole interview, he said that he was the sporting directors and the other, I'm not quoting the exact words, but what he basically said that the other people, the sporting directors, were more involved in the transfer. But now from January, he will be he will have more say. So he clearly said that now he will be a part of the process. Before he agreed to a certain criteria, and he was fine with that. He was being consulted, but now his role will enhance in the signings. So overall, they have a plan. So it's not about being a puppet, or you don't have your say, because they already have a very structured plan. So they all agree to that. So that is why we don't see anything that is that Poch can further do, because it's an agreement already at place for this structure.
All right, thank you so much for that. Honestly, I actually like the idea of Colwell at left back, in a back four. Defensively, our back line will be better, like the past weekend. Okay, if you like that. People say the way he talks in his press conference shows he's a puppet. No, I don't think so. But people, you can say, make assumptions. So they have every right to assume whatever they want to assume. To me, I think differently. There's a chance that's the case. There's a chance that isn't the case. That isn't the case. And for me, if you ask me, I say that is not the case. First, he said he wants experience. Also, but he assigned only young players. Makes zero sense. You could argue that. But let's see. But
But
my argument will, I will always bring you back to the fact that I'm quite sure he was properly briefed before he signed for Chelsea. You go ahead, Tebago. You wanted to say something.
yeah, this thing about experienced players and stuff. Where did we finish last season with experienced players? 12th, right? So at the end of the day, the new owners have their own plans, have their own model to buy young players to build a team from there. So all the fans know this, but it seems like they're questioning it. Oh, we should buy experienced players, blah blah. But the owners made it clear that they have their new plan. So even Paul signed for it. So at the end of the day, I think we should respect that. Let's see. Let's give it 2 years, 3 years, and then see where we will be there. So our fans should chill, man. We will be good.
Yep, our fans should chill indeed. Poch knew what the project was. We rebuilt for future. We rebuilt for future, not for Poch yet. Yep. Anyway, yep, that's the truth. If Dan okay, if Dan Bonds, okay, if Dan Bonds can play. I don't know him really. At left back, Colwell will be fine. I don't know who that is. I have to be honest. I can't just pretend I know the person you're talking about. And Suleiman Jaita says that good day, Blues, good day to you too. I think we need a striker who is good with the ball as well as scoring goals. I think we have those right now. But we have just, you can say Jackson needs to score and score consistently. We need to see, we still need time to see whether Broya came back the same as good as he was before he got injured. He was briefed by a fraud like with Stanley and Shields. Okay, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go along with 40 likes, 60 more to get it to 100. I still strongly believe we can make that happen. Let's move on to the next item we have lined up here. Let's go. Just give me 1 second here. All right, this one says Chelsea are the first and most logical solution for Victor Osimhen if he's to leave Napoli in the January transfer window. And I'm going to say this: the fact that you can say things now seem as if he's settled the issues he had with the Napoli hierarchy and the social media, you can say admin and all that. Given that. Something you can say we all can agree was racist. They've apologized, and given his statement, it seems as if he's forgiven them. He's moved on from that. But I still say that doesn't mean he's. You can say if any, you can say if good offer comes up for him, if he's presented with a good offer in January, that he will not consider leaving Napoli. I think he will. He will only pretend if things are fine, in my opinion. But let's hear you, Tebago. What do you think? Do you think the Spurs will sign him in January? Let's hear you.
No. What I've been told that Chelsea will push to sign him in the summer transfer window. Also, Also, coach, what I know about it, Evan Tony, sorry, Tony, not Tony, Victor Osimhen. Napoli offered a new contract, right? But Victor
He has to
Osimhen won
sign.
the, yes, that's it. He won the release clause there, so that if a clubs can come in for him, he can go. So that's why he haven't signed the contract yet. So until
Mhm.
they put the release clause, then he will sign it, so that when clubs pushing for him, he can leave when he's ready to leave. Because at the same time, coach, I think, like, for example, the way when, Brighton did with Moses Caicedo without the release clause, it's so hard for a player to leave, because the asking price might be huge, and then that's why, like, other teams maybe move on to other targets and stuff. So I think Victor Osimhen is smart for asking Napoli to put a risk clause there, so that when the clubs want him, he can leave anytime. So that's good for him.
That's yeah, that's a smart move, and I'm quite sure he's no stranger to how difficult it can be to negotiate with De Laurentiis, the Napoli president. So it's a smart move for him to ask for a release clause. I think they will do that soon, because he has just about 2 years left on his contract, and the lesser again the duration of his contract becomes, uh, you say they will not be able to get a sizable fee from his seller, or how much they're quoting from the sale of the player. And one thing I'd like us to be truthful about. Let me ask you this, Jerry. I don't know if you know Osimhen that much. Do you think he's Mauricio Pochettino's type of number nine? In my opinion, I'd say, given what I know him well. I followed him because he plays, because he represents Nigeria internationally, and I followed him since his emergence from the under 17 World Cup tournament, the FIFA World Cup tournament. I don't think he's no, I don't think he's Pochettino's type of striker, in my opinion. But let's hear you.
Yes, coach. So could you give the reason? Just asking. So I do understand. I got everything what you're saying. So can you also
Pochettino,
give your
from what
reason why
I
you
know
think?
so far, prefers strikers who are capable of playing across all positions in the front line, like on the
So,
left, on
so
the right,
you see
and
that
centrally.
he's limited with tracking back or playing deep with deep line.
I'm not going to go to the extent of saying whether he's limited in terms of tracking back. I'm just saying in terms of playing like as a winger on the left flank or right flank. I don't know him to. I don't know. I don't know if he's able to
Right.
do that. I haven't seen him
Right.
done that before.
I saw 5 or 6 games, to be very honest, with Napoli, some in the Champions League and some with Milan and Juventus. So, and see some of his highlights. So, I asked because one of the criteria, it's not a rule, right? Because the players like
No,
Kane,
it's not a rule. No.
yeah, when he was developing Kane and with the other players that he played in Southampton, and so he likes the people to track. You can see with Jackson, it's an example. It's not Jackson's trademark game. If you see his game with Villarreal, just to give the narrative to the people, it's not an exact trademark game. When Pochettino is playing Jackson, he's using him more in the deep line, in tracking back with higher in transition. So Poch wants that. So basically, a player like Jackson is the number 9, which Poch wants. So who can be a kind of versatile number 9, right? But it doesn't mean that he won't be happy with a player like, let's say, Broya, who is like a more traditional number 9. As far as Victor Osimhen is concerned, like, because right now, there is a huge need for a goal scorer, right? So maybe that aspect, if it is there, which I'm not sure, because I have seen 5 to 6 games of Osimhen, so I would need to see more to give a better judgment or analysis. So I'm sure Pochettino can work on that, because he's still 24, right? So apart from that, let's see what happens in the next month or two and how good Broya and Nicholas Jackson are playing. But if we go in the market, so definitely it will be very, very close call between even Toney and Osimhen. So generally, of course, we need a goal scorer. This is the one area that is missing right now, and he will provide goals because he has proven not only in Serie A but also in Champions League and also at international level. So the point that you brought up is very interesting. So it will be something that Pochettino can only judge, and he can compare if he has other options, like say with even Toney, who has a Premier League experience. But again, the drawbacks are that he is not playing, and definitely he would need to come back, and he's not really. Of course, he's training right now, but he is not really in the momentum. He's not playing games. So will Chelsea further, right? Given the position they have, it's also kind of a gamble with Toney, right? That he might need to settle. It will take some time to settle, because what I believe in, that Chelsea would want to buy, if they would want to go for a striker, they want to go for a striker who is ready. They don't want another period of transition, training, integrating, right? So the question is very interesting. I will look more into that. So, but I generally believe that Osimhen will fit in, and if there's something that Poch needs to fine tune, that won't be a problem for a player of the caliber of Osimhen.
Here's the thing. My biggest issue is he's operated. Just 1 second, Tebe, if you don't mind. He's played all his life as a traditional number 9, and if you heard the reports during the transfer window, when some outlets were reporting Pochettino is looking, the attackers he's looking for is he's looking for attackers who are capable of playing across the attacking line, across the front line. And to me, as much as I like him, I'd say he's not that guy. I'm still saying it. But if the manager feels like he can make it work, who am I to blow against the wind? And at this point, I'd say it's still all rumors at this point.
But of course. But one another thing would be that Nkunku would be back. So we and Jackson is of course a part of our squad. So we already have, just for an argument, right? I'm just putting an idea for an argument.
No,
so
I
we already have all the
chances.
Yes,
go ahead.
No, I was just saying we already have the players. When Nkunku will come back, Jackson, all the players that Pochettino wants, the profile, the way they play. So Osimhen will give something different. So it's not that he doesn't have the players. All other players are giving him something different, something that a different dynamic. So this is just an argument, right? So he already have the players who can fit in the way he wants. So Osimhen will definitely give him something else, and the other players will provide all the depth, all the different positional play, tracking back, etc. But you're right, of course, because you've been following him for 7 years or so. So definitely you have the right perspective, the right eye, the right knowledge about Osimhen.
Again, it's still an opinion, because chances are we've heard Pochettino say he's changed, he's more experienced. Maybe he's learned how to use a traditional number 9. Because to me, Osimhen is a traditional number 9, and from what I've seen so far, unfortunately, we've done that under 3 managers in a row. What's his name? Tuchel prefers a fluid approach. Poch preferred a fluid approach, and now I think Pochettino is known to prefer a fluid front line, in my opinion. But let's hear you, Tebago, what you have to say.
All I have to say, Coach, I have homework for you. Please watch Napoli's game this weekend, and then you'll tell me about Victor Osimhen, because what you are saying now is a different thing. Maybe you watch some few games, but I normally watch Napoli's weekend games every weekend.
I record all their games. You know we're brothers. I can show you that. But go ahead with what you're saying. I do record all their games, and I'm serious.
Coach, you need to send me the library, so on the weekend I can watch games for hours to analyze.
If it's legal, we'll do that. But let's see what you were saying. So go ahead. I'm here to fight you.
Yes, I think Osimhen can be what Poch wants. As you said before, he can change his style of play to fit the way Poch wants him to play. So let's say moving around, dropping deep and stuff. Because Victor Osimhen is a hard working player. So I wouldn't mind him at Chelsea, but again, it's up to Poch. Also, another thing with Evan Toney, my only issue with Evan Toney is the gambling thing. That's the issue with Evan Toney at the moment. I wouldn't mind him at Chelsea, but the gambling thing for me is an issue. What if it happens again and he's at Chelsea? I don't want that for my club.
Yeah, I think here's the thing. He's an excellent striker. He's a world-class number 9. We know that. If we have Mourinho as our manager, I say go get him. Go get him straight up. But I'm basing my judgment. You can say stems from the way I believe the manager likes to approach the game. But I have to also say he's told us that he's changed. So maybe he's learned to accommodate traditional number nines. Because so for me, Osimhen is a traditional number nine. Do I think he can get it to work? Yeah, he's still very young and probably can still has a room for improvement. It's not perfect. The fans should chill. We have no options, but we cannot stop complaining. That's why we're fans. Vic. But Victor, nice to see you. More importantly, I hope you're doing well. Nicolo Fagioli, better than Enzo. Miles ahead. I have many more names, coach. But just go ahead. Let's hear you. Mudrik needs a more chance to improve his skills and quality. That lad is good if he's seen in form. And I don't think he needs to improve his skills. He just needs confidence. I think he lost confidence at one point, but he's starting to regain his confidence, and he can only get better. Hopefully, from one of the items we've addressed already. Hopefully, the injury. We're told that he's being assessed to see whether he'd be able to participate in our next Premier League game. Hopefully, he'll be able to participate because I want him to continue playing as. You can say not to break that run of form for me, in my opinion. Let's see. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. Thanks for us for the understanding. No worries. Let's see what else we have here. Haaland's good job is to score. Does he do it in record numbers? Yeah, he scores quite a lot, but that's not my argument. If the manager can accommodate him, fine, because everything comes down to the manager's willingness to make adjustments, to change the way he operates. Because if we try to still do the fluid thing, if we have Osimhen in our ranks, I think he will have issues. The same issues Tuchel experienced when we had Lukaku, and he wasn't willing to change things around to make Lukaku the focal point. He wasn't willing to start. He can stay playing in a manner where once we get to the final third, we'll be channeling all our goal scoring chances through a single individual. So for me, for Osimhen's sake, until proven otherwise, I wouldn't want him to come to Chelsea right now. That's just me. Coach Arsenal losing to Lens was just amazing. They were calling a French league a farmers league and all that nonsense here. Yeah, and Lens is admin knows how to get back at them. Something to the effect of Farmers League strikes again. I didn't know why I did not. I don't know why I did not do a banter video. That was so funny. Let's see what else we have. You keep dropping the likes on this. Karma, indeed. Yep. Hurricane drops deep as a center forward, but he doesn't play across the front three. Yeah, you don't have to play across the front line. So that's a good argument. But at least you should be able to drop deep, be able to
That's right.
chances. You have to
not to give myself some credit, but that's one of the first question I asked you about dropping deep, tracking back, because this is one thing I've noted that Poch wants in his forward. This is one thing.
Yeah, but here's where Harry Kane differs. Harry Kane can play as a 10 because he has good vision in terms. He has good passing range too. He can create excellent chances for his striking partners. But go ahead if you wanted to add to that.
No, I just wanted to say that. I just want to highlight that and why I was saying that. And the other thing is that Poch can also like adapt, right? I mean, we are thinking that Poch will be like, he will still keep on. I mean, he will still prefer the way he wants. I mean, who knows that Poch might adapt, because it comes down to how badly we wanted a striker, right? So let's see. It's something technical, and we have to. Of course, we will be talking about that in the weeks to come.
Mm-hmm. And also, Victor, the playing across the front line aspect of this conversation, you can say it's necessary because that's what we've been told. What we were told last transfer window. Usually, or again, it's been. Usually it's just the player being able to participate in the play, and when they're not in a position to score, they're capable of creating goal scoring chances for the striking for their teammates. But that has changed according to what we were told last transfer window. Coach, we should go for James who? Odegaard, a very well-rounded striker. I don't know him. You're mentioning names I don't know, honestly. Osimhen trumps all our strikers. His presence and he is world class. No denying whether he's world class or not. And here's the thing: I did round off my argument by saying if the manager feels like he can make the adjustment needed to still have Osimhen operate as a traditional number 9, I'm all for it. Or maybe if it's
And coach,
Osimhen at this, yeah, just 1 second. Maybe if Osimhen is still capable of adapting and adjusting the way he operates on the feet on the pitch to fit the manager's unknown fluid approach, I'm all for it. That's just my concern. I like him for his sake. Until proven otherwise, I'd say Chelsea isn't the place for him right now. I know he's better than all the strikers we have. Yeah, he will get us goals, but we have to tweak the way we play to accommodate him. Let's hear you. Let's hear you, Tebago.
yeah, one thing I want from our club now at the moment, I know like desperately we need goals, but at the same time, I don't want us to spend huge money during January transfer window, like wasting money. How about wait for the summer, then we can have a long time planning that which is perfect striker for Mauricio Pochettino's system. Because sometimes you can see teams wasting money in during January transfer window and end up missing around the whole structure. So I think we should be careful on that, so that we can have a wide options in terms of a striker.
Definitely,
Yeah, I think
it's
I
an
agree with you. We shouldn't
it's
be
a
in a
great
rush because
it's a very very valid point, but again, in my opinion, what will come down, it's one of the variables we will see around December. I think the owners, what I believe in, the owners and the sporting directors will see where we are, right? If we have a chance, say we are just hypothetically we are 7th or 8th, and we see we can finish with this potential signing, let's say, of Osimhen, because Champions League is a target right now. I know it looks weird that we are talking about a 4th place finish, but if we do well, if we progress, then I think if they see that we need just a little bit step, we need a goal scorer, and we can potentially finish 4th or 5th, whatever it is, to qualify in the Champions League, then they might go for this move. This is my understanding, and this is what I've been reading and what I've been seeing. So it will all come down to, do they really see that we have a chance, because they really want to finish? Of course, it's not a rocket science. It's not something hidden in the top 4 for the Champions League. So it will all come down to all these aspects, and then they will take the decision. So it will be very very interesting.
yeah. Again, the club. Excuse me. The club will also pay attention to how well what's his name to how well Broya does um yeah, from now to January transfer window. Yeah, I think I agree with you. He's a world class player. Coach Haalands is still missing. If you see him, please report him to the authorities. I get your point there. If we get to see him, Poch needs to adapt. It's not that hard. Napoli plays with two wide players as well. It's pretty simple. Accommodate a world class player. Yeah, if he wants him. And you can argue actually, if we were that serious about getting him, he'd be a Chelsea player by now. And everything comes down to the manager. If he wants him, then he's decided, okay, he can accommodate him. I don't want a situation where he comes and we experience such issue. You can say we experienced in the case of Romelu Lukaku. He comes, the manager refuses to make, or you can say, to tweak his approach to accommodate him, and that became a serious issue for us. I don't want that because I really do like him, Coach. If you are thinking of Osimhen as a striker who only punishes high defensive line, do him a defensive line, do him a disservice. He drops in often to work with his midfielders and wingers. I mean, maybe I've not been paying attention. Hastings, he's more of a traditional number 9, and if it comes to Chelsea, if we're not channeling, you can say, a large sum of our chance creation through him, and he's not scoring as many goals as he's used to, he's going to become naturally, he will become frustrated, and the fans also would turn on him. That you then I'm not saying by any chance saying Osimhen is a bad player. I've told you I've followed him since he's under 17 days. Yeah, so I know him very well, and he represents my birth country, so I follow him very well to know how good he is. He's a world class player, no doubt, but I'm just concerned for him. But if the manager's willing to tweak things to accommodate him, let him come. Osimhen does drop deep, bro. But that's besides my argument. If you've been paying attention, Victor Ogumbajo, I know him as well as you know him too. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping likes on the stream, people. Osimhen is a born goal scorer since the under 17 World Cup. Chelsea need goals. It shouldn't be all about Poch's desire. I think I agree with you. But here's the thing. I don't want a situation. Here's the thing. Let me say something else again that differs from everything that I've said. I don't want a situation where we'll sign him and he comes to Chelsea, and then we find ourselves in a situation where once we get the ball, either by design or subconsciously, everybody will be looking for him, which translates to us. Once we get to the final third, once it's time to score, we'll be channeling all our goal scoring chances through a single individual. And once that individual is marked out of the game, we're done. But if the manager is willing to accommodate him, I don't mind us. You can say mixing it up, but I don't want a situation where he comes here 2 days, gets frustrated, or maybe not score that much because the manager prefers a fluid approach, and the Chelsea fans will turn against him. I like him. I even love. Let me use the term love, because he's a fine player, a world-class player at that. But I hope maybe it's difficult to get my point across. I'll just move on. Let's see what else we have here. Pace, a strength, a speed. He doesn't need to drop deep, man. Just give him the ball. That's the aspect where I'm saying, will the manager be willing to tweak his approach to accommodate him? And I'm going to say this. At this point, it's all rumors. Am I too sure we're serious about signing him? I don't know. Especially the price tag makes it sound as if it's not something that's going to happen. Because chances are, if we really wanted to sign Osimhen, he'd be a Chelsea player by now, in my opinion. I am in good mood today. Okay, good to hear that you're in good mood. Come on, JC, let's hear. What else do we have here? Patience and tolerance is a good virtue. It takes some. Okay. Good to hear that too. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. Understand people, the likes do go a long way. And the set multimedia, I will always prefer Ivan Toney over Osimhen. Toney already has established himself in the Premier League, to be specific, and see him to be more versatile than Osimhen. Wow, I'd prefer in that case, I'd prefer a younger player. You could say who can easily, you could say, because he's very young, can still adapt to my. You could say can adapt, learn what you can say more new stuff, and become even better. I can take a guess that I would be. Okay, let's move on from that, please. Toney is not more versatile than Osimhen. So let's hear you. Okay, this second, let's go for this. This one here, this item here. There you go. Chelsea are willing to break their transfer rule to make an exception to sign Ivan Toney. I'm guessing that the rule in question is you can say what Constantine Dante will always talk about. They don't sign any player above the age of 25. So let's hear you, Tebago. And if you're in the chat, I want to hear you. Which of the two players do you prefer? Before we even get to looking at the numbers of the two players to see who's done better than the other, my guess is Osimhen. Yeah, he has an exceptional season last it's 22. You can say 22-23 season. But let's hear you, Tebago. Which of the two strikers do you prefer? Look beyond their price tag. Which of them do you think is better for Chelsea beyond the Osimhen's price tag? Because I know you'd say that if I don't mention that right now. But you go ahead. Let's hear you.
To be honest, coach, I would prefer Victor Osimhen. Mm-hmm. As I said it, I rate Ivan Toney, but my only issue is that gambling ban that he have now at the moment. So I don't know he will overcome that addiction or not. So I don't want another, like for example, Chelsea. I don't want another story or media trouble and stuff. That just like what happened with Lukaku, we're under so much scrutiny with Lukaku, what he said about the club. So I don't want a situation where about where we have a top striker and then is not playing because of his gambling issues. So, but also if he's not if he will overcome that, I wouldn't mind him. But the issue now at the moment. Uh, is being linked with three clubs: Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs. So we will wait and see
And, and his
which club.
preference has to be told is Arsenal.
Yes. So 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 we'll wait and see what will happen during transfer window, general transfer window. But as I said, if you overcome that gambling addiction, he's welcome to Chelsea.
So, in other words, you're saying you prefer, you can say you prefer Ivan Toney to Osimhen.
Osimhen, I prefer Osimhen.
Okay, let's see. And I don't think you explained why you prefer Osimhen. If we have to go for tradition number nine, I'd still let's go for Osimhen. Hi everyone, hi to you to Sameko, Chris. I hope you're doing well. Let's see what else we have here. Toney will be 29. If when he comes, I think that he's like more like 4 years above the average age of, you could say, the age limit given the pattern to the players we've been signing. I don't know if that's written everywhere. I don't know if that's a rule, or maybe Constantine Dante has paid attention to the players we've been signing and come to the conclusion that we don't sign players above the age of 25. But it seems as if that's the case. EPL experience is a fox talk. Ivan isn't half the player of Osimhen. He's not faster, not better aerially, not a better dribbler. Probably in taking PKs too. Right. I think again, off the top, off the bat, if you ask me, I'd choose to see him anytime, any day. How many players we will buy and play in the Belgian league? Moises Caicedo, uh, okay, Moses Casado and Romeo Lavia, now Osimhen. Oh, okay, they've all played in the Belgium league. Okay. You don't break a golden transfer rule to land a Toney. That may well be the case. There's a chance of, yes, then these are all rumors at this point. There's no telling what the club would do in January. And we have to be honest to ourselves. Before the club will start looking seriously to sign any of these two players, I think it comes down to how well Amanda Broya and Nicholas Jackson and Nkunku also, how the three of them do, how the three of them, the three players do, how well they do come you can say come January, because Nkunku can also play as a striker. If you ask him, he'd tell you he's a striker. Traditionally, just go for Oli Watkins. He's a player I like so much, but I don't know why a lot of people. I think he's underrated. Maybe he's a fine finisher. The guy is getting better every season. I think the last time I suggested we'll look at him, I think some people complained that he's injury prone. Toney would join Arsenal. That sounds believable, given the fact that he said during an interview that he likes Arsenal, and I think he mentioned Liverpool too. Come on, like the video, guys. He's doing a good job. Thank you, Munes. I appreciate you saying that. We have 48 likes. Let's get it to 50. Please keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. And here, listen, bro. I am worried we don't have experience. I think we do have experience. I think if you argue we need more experience, maybe I'd say, okay, you're correct. We do have experience. But as I've said before, the issue is that because people commonly use experience and age interchangeably, maybe thinking you can say age comes before experience, which you can say it's wrong in my opinion. We have very young players that are actually experienced. Casado is experienced, even Latvia is experienced. The question now is how experienced are they? So if you're saying we need more experienced players, then I'd pay attention to you more. Toney is a dream that never comes true. Okay. It's to see him world class. Yeah, I think his world class from his time at France to since again before he joined Napoli. I think yeah, he's proven to be one of the best in the world. So you could argue he's world class. Okay, is Toney? I don't know really. Has Toney led the front line to a title? No, he hasn't. Not even close. Champions League. No, etc. etc. It's a pretty simple decision. So, which you could argue was why I said off the bat I pick Osimhen. But beyond that, I know for me, I think Osimhen is the better player of the two, in my opinion. But people will always bring the argument that yeah, Toney has Premier League experience, but he's a good striker too. Nowoski, Nigeria plays differently. From Napoli and Osimhen still racks up goals. He's a versatile and not just a traditional number 9. He adapts to the requirements of the game. If that's the case, honestly, as I've always said, that's not me saying he's not a good player. Yeah, my argument is that does it fit the way I know the manager likes to approach the game? That was when I said no, I have questions. But do I think the manager can make it work? Yeah, but he has to change the way he likes to approach the game to accommodate Osimhen and for Osimhen to be as effective. You can say, yeah, as he's been at Napoli if we get to sign him. But at this point, it's all rumors. Will it happen? We don't know. But you get my argument there. Chelsea should be disbanded. He will be okay. It would be embarrassing to be called. Wow. You must not be a Chelsea fan. A Chelsea fan. Let me move on from that. Sameko Chris says, so bro, I prefer Osimhen right now. We need a proper number 9 that knows where the net is. Okay, that's how a lot of people put it. I am worried, coach. Every striker looking world class in the Italian league from Lukaku and even Dries Martins were scoring it with their eyes closed. And yeah, the guy was 35. I'm not sure what to make of that argument, but it just seems if you take your time to look at it, it seems as if it will look as if you can say maybe there's a pattern to that. I'm not too sure. I love this Osimhen versus Toney debate. Let's hear you. You haven't said anything. You haven't told us which of the two players you prefer and why. Yeah, for me, I'd say the younger player. One reason, I think the club would prefer to sign Osimhen, and also you can say more. You can say it'd be easier for him to adapt to the manager's approach because he's still very young. That's my opinion. Let's move on. What else do we have here? Anything else to address here before we start looking at their numbers? Ivan is a small club. Is a small club player. He has no fear factor. The whole Chelsea and manager have no fear factor. The fear factor is very important for a team and players. So let's hear you. I think your argument is still missing something. Let's hear you. I need you to elaborate a bit. So, what's your point? You're saying, probably given the comments you have on the screen there, you're saying you'd rather go for Victor Osimhen, that he plays for a big club. Okay, it makes sense. Again, if that's what, then let's hear you. Maybe you need to elaborate even more. Real Madrid is looking for Osimhen. I haven't seen anything to that effect, and I haven't. Here I come. Let's hear you. So keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. We have 49 likes. Just one more to get it to 50. We can make it happen. Let's get the likes to 100 if we can by the time the show ends. Let's say commercially, it's no debate either. Can you elaborate a bit too? Commercially, in what sense? Let's hear you. I think while I wait to hear your argument as to why you prefer either of the two players, let us address these two items here. The first one, do I have it open in two windows? So I need to change that. That's the second item I wanted us to look at while I wait to hear you speak. Tebago, thank you for that update there. I'm going to try to open it. You said, okay, you said it in the group there. Just 1 second there. That one and this one. Yeah, I think we've addressed that one. So let's look at this one here. It says there are already calls for Chelsea to recall Andrea Sanchez in January, which the club could do by activating a break clause in the loan agreement. Forest also incurred mutually agreed financial penalties for not playing Santos when he's fit. Unfortunately, not. He should be playing, but I don't know why we chose Forest. Now, on two occasions, actually, he wasn't even on the bench. And this also talks about Amanda Broya was the subject of interest from Newcastle, Roma, and AC Milan in the summer. Those clubs they know how good he can become, but their interest did not progress very far. Mauricio Pochettino played a part in that, so he likes the player and probably communicated with the club that he wants to keep the player, and the club in turn refused to sell Amanda Broya. Hopefully, we wait and see whether he came back the same or whether he's changed. I know he did well in the last game we played, but it's just a game. Selling shirts, a coach, and a sponsorship. So, which of the players do you think would do better in that aspect? In what you in terms of selling shirts and merchandise? I will say it different. Morata flops at Chelsea. He was bagging goals in Serie A. Lukaku was whatever you said there at Chelsea, bagging goals at Serie A, and he's starting to score again. I think he scored a few for Roma. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see what else we have here. And Dries Martins was 35 years old, and he was bagging goals. Every striker looks world class in the Serie A. Wow. So your argument is that you're not too sure whether Osimhen would do well if he comes to Chelsea. Here's the thing: Lukaku had Tuchel adjusted his approach to the game to accommodate Lukaku as a traditional number 9. He scored more, and accommodating Lukaku as a traditional number 9 doesn't mean that he cannot, you can say, charge him to drop deep when he can. When he's not in a position to score goal, and also create chances for his teammates. Osimhen, I believe, is capable of doing that. But the manager, first of all, more importantly, you'd have to accommodate him as a traditional number 9. That will make him comfortable. Then, when he's not scoring, if he finds himself in a deeper position and on the ball, and his teammates one of his teammates makes a good run into the box, he'd be able to find him. That's a different thing. But it starts by the manager accepting that now we have this particular profile of striker. Now we have to do something differently to get the best out of that striker. If we sign Osimhen and still continues with a fluid approach where you see the number 9 dropping deep and somebody on the right-hand side coming centrally, he still score goals, but he will not be as effective as the manager recognizing that he has played mainly as a traditional number 9. That doesn't mean he doesn't drop deep and participate in the play. Okay, now we have you can say the manager has to look at it and say, okay, we have a traditional number 9 or player who's played mainly as a traditional number 9. We still want to keep things fluid, but first of all, we have to accommodate him as a traditional number 9 so that he's comfortable, so that we're according him, you can say, the chance or the platform to be as effective as he can be, if that makes sense. My argument isn't that Osimhen is a bad player. More importantly, the manager has to tweak things for him to be as effective as he's been in Italy or for Napoli. If you get that, let's see a future value as well. That matters. Sell-on value. So to me, given everything you've said, sell of merchandise, then Osimhen mainly, in my opinion. I agree with you, Coach. I'd rather get Osimhen because he's young and Poch can mold him. That's a delicious comment. That's another of my points. He's still very young and can still adapt to new ways, you can say, of fulfilling the number 9 role. Wow. As of fulfilling the number 9 role, in my opinion. So let's see what else we have here. I think we have an update from my bro from the Madiba Land Tobago. We'll look at that in a bit. Just give me a second. Let me open that update. We'll address that update and quickly compare the numbers of Ivan Toney, the season he played, the whole season, and Osimhen last season. Let's see. Just give me 1 second here. I want to address something that Tebago shares shared with me. We have a breaking news, and we will look at that in a bit. Just give me a second. Let's see. Breaking news here. Official Rhys James has been given a one-match suspension. So here's the question I want to ask here. Let me read this through first. A regulation and discipline update. Rhys James has been given a one-match suspension and a £90,000 fine for breaking FA rule. Forget the rule number at Chelsea's Premier League match against Aston Villa on Sunday, 24th of September. The defender admitted that he used improper, insulting, and abusive words and behavior towards a match official in the tunnel after the final whistle. Regulation and discipline update. An independent regulatory commission imposed these sanctions following a hearing, and it's written and its written reason for them will be published at the earliest opportunity. Let me ask you this: so, which of the game Which of the game is he gonna miss? That counts. So it's not specific here because since it's still
I think
so probably the Bali game will not count. So I think it starts counting once it's fully fit. I don't know. Let's hear you.
I think counts from the Bingley game. From what I'm seeing, because they released this now before the Bingley game, right? So that means the Bingley game he is suspended.
Hmm. So you say it's the Burnley game?
I think so, and that will be a good thing for us. That means he'll be available for Arsenal game. So hopefully it's the Bentley game. But at the moment we don't have a clarity whether it's a Bentley game or as soon as it's fully fit.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it should be as because it just doesn't make sense. Because if it's going to be the Burnley game, already we know we've been told that he wasn't going to be available for the Burnley game. If anything, he'll be available for the Arsenal game. So they're not stupid. Because if it is constant, if the punishment, they say if they punish the punishment they give out to players when they do such things is if it is static, then we can still count. And even if a player is injured for, you can say, wasn't going to play the two games anyway due to injury, then yeah, the punishment is useless. So probably the Arsenal game, I'm thinking after the international break, which is when we're looking to have him back. So he's going to miss that particular game. Broya will easily replace Antonio at West Ham or Wilson at Newcastle United. Let's see if there will be a huge market for him in the summer, but I don't think we were looking to sell him. As we've learned, we've addressed one of the reports there that showed the manager trusts him. Lukaku wasn't world class, in my opinion, or Maatsen. They didn't win anything. I never said Lukaku was world class. Playing City as a team brings some level of fear, which will make the opposition team work hard on how to stop the attack. Teams play against Chelsea now without a single atom of fear. That changes. We're getting there. I didn't expect us to have, like you say, that fear factor coming into the season, given how many changes we've made. But Phil, more importantly, nice to see you. I don't know if I've said hello to you. Big up to you, to Chelsea all the way. Yes, my friend, I like Osimhen. I know him from, is it Charillo in Belgium? But for the Premier League, I think he will never score more than 10 goals, I think. Okay, it's still your opinion. Yeah, but you never know. Let's see. Ivan will be another flat player without no atom of fear compared to a Siemens type of player of danger, which will in turn put the defenders in check. Good argument right there. We're probably the only market for Osimhen unless Madrid changes their mindset about Mbappe. Do I think they changed their mindset? No, I don't think so. He'll join them as a free agent. That's the case, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. People should stop saying Serie A, a striker wouldn't work in the EPL. Generalizing the issues is baseless. We signed Danny drink water from Leicester City, and what happened? Yeah, okay. Some argument. Danny, drink wine, by the way. Go ahead.
We have an update. Nisa Councillor just said that the suspension will be immediately when served against Bingley. So we are good.
Okay. Well, then it's freaking stupid, really. But thanks to them, it just doesn't. I okay. Oh, I like that. That's hilarious, really. Okay, suspension for questioning fraudulent decision. But he admitted it himself. He shouldn't be using slaws and all that. But let's move on from that. Arsenal, we've heard he's gonna miss the Burnley game. Yeah, he didn't miss any game for me. That's fine. Put Reece James on list of subs against Burnley. So he will be bound for that one. Okay, it makes sense. So James is out of the Burnley game. What a shame. Yeah, it's funny to you, right? A game he'd already missed. Coachila, there's a chance that Jackson or Broya would be scoring goals before January transfer window opens. Would we still go for him? I'd say no. And if you ask people in the chat, I've said everything comes down to how well they do. Yeah, if they start firing all cylinders, I don't think we'll still spend that much money on Osimhen in January. Important update: ban is effective immediately. Yeah, that's good. So Reece James misses Burnley and not Arsenal after the international break. Thank you so much, Phil. I appreciate you updating us on that. Napoli plays a fluid football, arguably. Okay. Arguably the best next to City. Wow. Really? Okay. Poch has to be tactically inept or confused to decline a potent striker like Osimhen. We evidently need goals. Okay, if he wants him, here's the thing: as long as he's able to make adjustment to accommodate him, I'll be fine with that. But I'm concerned about Osimhen himself coming in. The manager refuses to make up. You can say first of all, you have to accommodate him as a traditional number 9 before anything else. Yes, you still get Osimhen over Broya. Not like you don't. Not like Broya. Okay, Haaland till then. And important update, Barney. Yeah, I think we've read that, but thank you so much. So recent Mrs. Burnley and not Arsenal game after the international break. Thank you for that. I have a weird feeling that Broya is going to be a very good striker. A lot of people think that he was good before he got injured. I rate him highly. But if we can sign Osimhen, I think he will mix it up for us a bit. You can say all we have you can say hybrid number 9s and having a traditional number 9 as good as Osimhen, as long as the manager is willing to accommodate him first of all as a number 9 before anything else, I think I'll be good for it. I'm all for it. Let's get this fact. Osimhen has played he's played in the German league, France and Italian teams, and he has always known the location of the net. Yep, he doesn't need GPS. That is what I need, and not just EPL experience. So Toney has only had one solid season. And here's the thing: EPL experience is not a guarantee. I remember how much we paid for Fernando Torres, but his case is different. He was finished before we signed him. He was on injections. I remember Danny drank wine. Ross Barkley, I don't blame him that much. I think he didn't get to play consistently. But there are names to mention. But a lot of people, Mr. Nice to see you, brother. How much fine and suspension? The fine is £90,000. One game, and they say the game against Brighton, against Burnley counts. So we're fine. It's not like I think the only thing there is just the fine, in my opinion. And suspension was given to the ref who failed to send Vinicius off for violence against Thiago Silva. Good luck getting them to do that. Injury prone, his body type, his style of play, and IQ low. Wow. Life is like that. Those FA people are strict when someone questions their integrity, but should they now be given bans to Liverpool club and stuff? I think they should. If they did something similar, then there are grounds for other clubs to come and argue, okay, you did this to us, what about them? Look what they did and you did nothing. Liverpool should get a season-long ban then, yeah, if that makes sense. Will Pochettino survive till Christmas? I think he will. Marc and Toney, the signs are good. I think people, the questions people have asked the most is, you can say, his selection, players starting and the players is left on the bench and players is starting in certain position. For me, I've been saying this and I'm saying it. I'm seeing progress. Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, check the latest update I sent to the group. I think this is wonderful from Pochettino. Check it,
Mhm.
please.
All right, I'll do that. We have another update there from my bro. Yep, who's been great with the updates. Okay. Okay, let's look at that one. Let me see what I'll try to make sense of it, but if I can't decipher what that is, thank you for the gift. Brave New World. Okay, he gave him a book.
So I can jump in because
All right, you go ahead. Let's
fan
hear
of
you.
history and Pochettino. Brave New World is a book that Pochettino. It's about Pochettino that was released in 2017. So where he talked about
Oh,
his
he wrote the
history.
book.
Yeah, yeah. It's his one of the biggest sellers. When he was linked with the Real Madrid job, in the book he said that he why he refused the Real Madrid job and many other things about his tactics, philosophy, and all the things that we've been hearing and how he progressed, he developed himself. So we can see also the YouTube videos and an interview with Guillem Balak, who is the correspondent, Spanish correspondent for BBC. So it's a very interesting book. I have read it, so I'm a big fan of this book. It made me, in fact, appreciate Pochettino. This is a book that made me appreciate Pochettino.
You read it?
Yeah, I have read it in 2017, so I can perfectly and I can really associate why he has like given to Modric, and yeah, so it makes me excited, and because I can associate all the feelings and all my memories reading this book.
Yeah, I think I will go. I'll try go again. Find it and read it. If you have the electronic version, I have lots to read because of my research. My for my program and research, it's at the research stage and all that. His thing, I think I'll try to read it. But my biggest take from this is man management. He's found a way to make the kid happy, and that's going a long way so far. The kid is all smiles these days. Let's say to Beho, what you have to say about that, so that we can compare Osimhen's numbers to to Ivan Toney's numbers and call it a day. But let's hear you. What do you make of him giving him this book? And by the way, Jerry Z, thank you for that. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is a good thing in terms of Pochettino giving this kid this book. Just show him his journey, what he achieved. Also, the ups and downs of his career. So it's a good thing just to give this kid confidence. Same to Conor Gallagher, who Chelsea fans never rated, but he gave him the confidence. Even the armband. Look at Conor now. So thank you, Pochettino. I appreciate it. Hopefully, the fans can be patient with you.
I think there's a lot of fun. The fan, you can say, the fans are starting to, you can say, even his biggest critics have become his biggest supporters. From what I'm witnessing on Twitter, I think I've always known that he's a good player. All he needed was just because consistent game time, and he'll come good. I think we haven't seen again enough of what he. This is just the beginning. There's more to come from this kid. Coachila, did you see the formation that learns used to beat Arsenal 3-4-2-1? I didn't watch that game, I have to be honest. But I record games, so maybe I need to watch it to learn something from it. In the German league, he never even scored one goal for Wolfsburg. They didn't treat him well. They didn't trust him. He had to leave. I don't know whether he scored or not, but I'm not going to go to that extent. He was a start. He was starting scoring in the Belgian league, and then he became top scorer for Lille and now Napoli. We buy Osimhen. They will buy who? They'll buy David. Okay. Hello, coach. Been a while. Sheila, my bro, nice to see you. Kukwe, I hope you're doing well. Faith, sorry, I've been very busy with work these past months. You don't have to say you're sorry. I will understand. Bills don't pay themselves. And I want you to let me know, do you earn money whenever you join the show? If that's the case, then I'll stop being the host and probably start being a participant. Yeah, because we're not in even enough to do the monthly giveaway from the show. I would try to join from November, no problem. Take all the time you need, bro. Bills don't pay themselves, but thank you for stopping by to say hello. Let's see what else we have here. Yep, I think he's done that. It's a gift from Mauricio Pochettino, a book he wrote. He wrote a gift from him.
Just to be clear, book he co-wrote with Guillaume Belag. Guillaume Belag
he
basically
co-wrote
published
with
it, and
who?
yeah,
Co-written with
co-wrote
who?
with. Sorry,
Co-wrote the book with who?
Guillaume Belag,
Oh, okay.
the Spanish journalist.
Okay. So it's a gift to Modric from him. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go a long way. And Victor here saying, I don't like everything about Poch, but I have a lot of respect for him. Has there ever been a manager you'd say you like everything about them? There isn't any. As much as I like Thomas Tuchel, that I think I'll point out to you that I think he didn't do right. I liked Sarri, that I think I'll point out he didn't do right. I liked Mourinho, and that I still tell you, to me, the thing I don't like about him, he's not progressive enough for me. I don't mind Osimhen coming to Chelsea, but Ward would prefer he goes to Saudi Arabia and make some serious money. He's still very young. He could still come to Chelsea, play 2 years, and then go to Saudi Arabia at the age of 26, 27. So it's not too late. Let's see. I will take Ivan over Osimhen just because Ivan Toney has EPL experience. I think I need some people to respond to you. Here's the thing. EPL experience is no guarantee. Yep. And here's the thing. If we're talking about price tag, I don't think Toney comes cheap. Rumors are that Brentford will be asked. They will ask for something north of 60, 70 million pounds. I'm not too sure, but at this point, I'm still going to say these are all just rumors at this point. Everything comes down to how well Amanda Broya, Nicholas Jackson, Christopher Nkunku, how well they do. You can say before January, then we'll find out whether the club will be serious about signing a striker, especially one that will cost a lot. They will buy Jonathan David if we buy Victor Osimhen. Okay, Jonathan David is a player I like, but I think he's similar to all, you can say, to the hybrid strikers we have. If we're going to sign any player, let's mix it up. Let's sign Osimhen and mix it up, in my opinion. We have too many. Jonathan David doesn't differ that much from Christopher Nkunku and Nicholas Jackson, even Amanda Broya. Just so you can say those two, Nkunku and Jackson, are both more powerful than him. But Osimhen will not be lower than 100 million. You're being generous there. Lower than 150, let's be honest. Except if we go for him in the summer and he hasn't signed a new contract. Because if he signs a new contract, chances are they'll have a ridiculous buyout clause on the new contract. Yes, people, 60 likes, that's not bad. But the views I'm seeing in the back end is not measuring the 60 likes. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. We'll have a few minutes to round up. We'll start comparing their numbers in a bit. We don't know if the Saudi Arabia money will still be paid as huge as it is now. Victor, go in and make your money in Saudi and then return to EPL or another European league later. He doesn't see it that way, and Napoli then accept the offer. If they get that's more importantly, they did not accept the offer. Because if they did, Osimhen would be playing in the Saudi league by now. Obi wants Toney over his Nigerian brother. You can be biased, Obi. It's okay. Okay, let's move on. Let's look at their numbers. There you go. This is where I want you to pay attention, and I'm quite sure you're paying attention there, Jersey. Let's start. Just give me a second. I have to give it time to reload. And this one too has to reload. I use footystats.org. Very detailed and easy. It doesn't have too many pop-ups as what's the other option out there. So let's go to attacking stats. I had to go back to the 22-23 season for Toney. That's when he played as much as how many games in total? He played 35 games in total, and Osimhen played how many games in total? I'm just going by Osimhen's last year. Or let's go. What year is this? Let me look at it again. Okay, 22-23. So let's go for Osimhen's 22-23. Okay, the same thing. So let's see. He played. Toney played a total of 35 games. 33 in the Premier League, 2 in the League Cup, and for Osimhen, a total of 40. Wow, that's a lot. 45 games. 32 in the Serie A. So that measures he has 26 Serie A goals and 4 assists. Toney has 20 20 Premier League goals and 4 assists. So pretty even there. So you wouldn't I get it. Toney played one more game, and Osimhen scored more. I don't know. I
He
wouldn't
scored
read too much
six
into
more
that. I want to
goals.
see more, but you go ahead. Let's hear you.
Yeah, of course. Overall, if you see apart from the league, the overall conversion rate of Osimhen is very high. Is higher than Toney. But again, like when we do these stats, we have to be careful. We have to take in consideration what we are comparing. Like we are, which two things we are comparing. Again, the question will come: it's Serie A and Premier League, right? So even though that Osimhen has the edge, right? So, but the goals that he scored in Premier League, it's pretty much. It can be said, right? It depends on the argument that okay, Osimhen might go. Toney might have scored more goals in Serie A, but it's not that simple. It's not that straightforward, right? It's a
No,
wrong
it's not. Yeah,
narrative in
it's
my.
not. Yeah.
It's a false narrative, in my opinion, that people would so easily say, "Oh, Osimhen has scored these many goals. He'll come to the Premier League. He'll struggle." No, it depends on the individual. It really depends on the individual. So,
And it
yeah,
depends on
this
whether depends also you can say you should add to it whether the manager's willing to change things around to accommodate the player. Because
yes,
that's the thing, if we're being honest to ourselves, the moment you move from one club to the other, no manager approaches approaches football the same way. Something like you say, they do something differently. So it's either the player changes to you can say to fit in well, or the manager changes something to accommodate the team. Either of the two has to happen, or maybe half and half of the two has to happen for the player. You can say to be accorded the platform to do well or to be at their best, in my opinion. But go ahead with what you were saying,
no,
Jersey.
you're absolutely right. You nailed it, and you summed it up well. And again, like although we all know, and I also like Syria is not that. I mean, Syria is a good league. It's nowhere near like Premier League. But again, we are seeing as a whole. But if we see the defense, we still see the defense combined with the. I mean, talking in general with all the teams in Syria, they do play a very defensive strategy. So it's again because of course I'm not an expert of Syria. I haven't seen it a lot, but generally over the years and especially now as well, it's not so easy to score in Syria. This is some people take it for granted. It's only Syria, so I disagree with that because still it's difficult to score because the way the teams are structured and positioned, it's not that easy because it's their strength. Even though they are not at par, the pace and all the other attributes are not at par with the Premier League, but the defense is still remains one of the most important strengths. So it's difficult, even if we see the in general. Of course, we can always give example where English team dominated the Italian teams, etc. But generally, it's difficult. It has remained over the years difficult, even the Champions League, to score against the Italian team. So in that context, I would say that these figures are very impressive, and that add to that the Champions League conversion and the international. So even Toney definitely stands out, and there is not much doubt about his ability. Of course, everyone can always say when he comes to the Premier League how it will go, how it will pan out. So it's a different argument. But when we look at the stats, the ability and his overall performance, it's kind of a safe bet, right? It's a safe bet. When it comes to even Toney, his stats are still very good, but he has, of course, his stats has never not been like this consistent over the years. We also have to take into consideration. And again, he has missed a lot of chance. And how can we assess if his mind is in the right place, if he's strong enough to come back, right? If he's mentally he can make the transition of whatever happened with the incidents or the stuff that he did, right? So that will be interesting. So in my opinion, looking at the stats and the whole picture as the picture, it's clear, it's very clear to me that even Toney is definitely a much better striker. There's no much room
You
for.
think Ivan Toney is a much better striker?
I I messed it up in the end. I meant to say, I said it the other way around. I apologize.
I just wanted to confirm because I knew, given everything you've said, I think you
I,
meant
I, I
to say
apologize
Osimhen.
for the mix
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Osimhen is
So
definitely.
let's just look at the numbers quickly. Looking at the numbers here, Osimhen goals scored. Let's see. Per 90 minutes is 0.61 per 90 minutes. Goals involvement at 24. Is that Osimhen? Is that him? Let's see. That's Ivan Toney. Yeah. Ivan Toney. Yeah. Goals scored 20 in total, about 0.61 in per game. Osimhen average is 0.91 goals per game. So he's better in that department. Goal involvement 30 in total, so he's actually 10 better than Ivan Toney. And for what else do we have to look at here that's important? Expected goals in total 15.42, and for Ivan Toney expected goals 20. Who's this one? Yeah, Victor Osimhen is 20.14, so he's better in that department too. Let's just go. How many hat tricks? One. I think Toney has one hat trick, but that's of no
But one thing,
significance important.
having said all of
Go
that,
ahead.
having said all of that, the one thing we can also take into consideration to give some leverage, to give some space for consideration for Evan Toney is that he's not playing for a big club, right? In England, so of course he's not getting that many chances, that many opportunities, that many the goal conversion opportunities. So there is a room that we can see or for not improvement. I mean, if we were playing for City, Arsenal, etc., then maybe we can say that his stats can further improve. So because he was playing for a team that is mid-table team, right? So in that context, the stats do stand out.
All right, so here, let's hear this. Shot accuracy at 52%, 52.05% for Toney. Shot accuracy for Victor Osimhen. They're pretty much even in that department, 52.88. They're not that good, and both are not excellent in that. Shot conversion rate 27.40 for Ivan Toney. Shot conversion rate at 25.00. So actually, Ivan Toney, given the numbers we're looking at, has a better shot conversion
Well, generally,
rate.
shot accuracy over 50% is considered good in football.
In my opinion, I think we have players that can do better. That's how I see. I know it's considered good, but you get my opinion. But more importantly, overall, they're pretty even. You get my point now. And then for 52 point now, for an 88%, it's in the 79 percentile, not bad. So you make sense there. Let's look at something else. Overall, let's see. Shots off, you can say, wow, shots off target 49 out of 104, and that's in the 99 percentile. But what do you make of this one here? If you're there, Jerry Z, can you see it?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you tell me whose information is this?
That's Victor Osimhen. Shots off target is 49 out of 104. That's nearly 50%.
Yeah, that is good because it's off target, right? And when we see 49 out of 104, it's a data which is just telling us that how many opportunities did come and how many he attempted from the angles. And the shots off target is definitely opportunities that are not optimal, that are not easier to take. So in that concept, it is good. And we can see the percentile is also 99 in that regard. Per 90 minutes is 1.71, which is also a very high rate, right? Of course, if we compare this with Holland and other players, it will be less, right? So we have to see that as well. And again, in Italy, when you're playing in Serie A, like it's more difficult. It's much difficult because they are playing low blocks. So we have to consider that as well. So it's pretty good, pretty decent, right?
Yeah, you can say that. Let's see. Honestly, I don't think our playing style suits Osimhen's type of football. He can adjust, and the manager can also make some adjustment to accommodate him. That's what we're arguing. Coachila, someone said that Lukaku has scored more goals in 2023 than Victor Osimhen. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. When did he do that? And when did he even go back to Roma? So even when he went back on loan to Inter Milan, he didn't play that much and didn't score that many goals. So I'm not sure where that argument is coming from. Italian teams are very defensive, besides a couple of top teams. Some people argue otherwise, thinks that they are woeful, awful defensively, and that's why strikers get a lot of goals there. We're comparing the Serie A versus Premier League, Brentford versus Napoli. I'm not doing that, and I don't think that's what we're doing. We're talking about the player. In my opinion, I'm not into. Again, I don't buy the argument that the player, because they come from a certain league, it simply means that they're not going to do well in another league. It's
Vic,
not
Vic,
that straightforward.
Vic is
Osimhen
right.
is
Vic is
playing
right, and
in a
that is why
better.
sorry, coach. Continue.
This says Osimhen is playing a better team. That's another argument people don't know. They will think if he comes to Chelsea, it's going to be plug and play. No, there are other things that has to be in place. The things that have to be in place for him to do well. I think you make a very delicious, you can say, point there. And he has great international experience compared to Toney. Let's say Italian teams are usually built on a solid defensive line. I think I agree. Mostly teams try to shut shop after scoring one goal. Atalanta and Napoli, though, are different. I think I agree with you. Even AC Milan are different kind of. Toney is a much better striker.
Sorry, I messed it up. I meant to say Osimhen.
That was you can say that was a mistake from him that time. See the emotions are affecting you, Jersey. Let's see. Brentford play on counter mostly. He gets goals like that and takes a penalties. So that's another good point too. So for me, I'd say off the bat, I saw Osimhen, even without looking at their numbers. So Jersey, go ahead. Let's look at their passing ability and that aspect. Then maybe dribbling if we have more time, and call it a day. I'll be back in a few seconds. You go ahead. You have the floor.
Okay. So we can see assist in passing, right? For in total per 90 minutes is 0.12. That is not so high, right? But as a striker, that would definitely not be at higher. We cannot expect them to be making so many assists. Expected assist is 4.18, which is pretty decent per 90 minutes. Sorry, passes 696, which is a higher number, 22.57 per 90 minutes. The most important thing is, this is a general stat. The most important thing is successful passes, which is 434 out of 696. So we can see that passes have not been so accurate, right? He has made some passes that are this percentile is not so high. It's 62.36%, which is not. This is something which I'm seeing right now is an area which needs to improve. This means that 4 out of 10 passes were not spot on, were not successful, which is something to look at. Key passes 25 again, 0.81 per 90 minutes, crosses 33. So overall, the cross completion rate is 15.15%, which is low. This is quite low. So these two aspects about assist and complete passing rate is low. Can you show the stat for the other place? So I'm really.
So this is now Osimhen, and we're looking at assist, passing, and chances created, right?
Yeah.
So you see, even still in that department, 15.15%.
This is interesting.
15.79. Okay, go ahead.
Completion rate is also 62. So this is Toney, right?
Now this is Osimhen. Now the one you were looking at was Osimhen.
So his is 9% more passes completion rate, and cross completion rate is 15.79. So it's more or less the same. But most important thing is the pass completion rate, which is decent, which still needs to be improved. So even though the stats of goal scoring and all the creative stuff that they did and the other metrics we see, but both of these areas is low. If you can see the stats of other strikers, it will be higher. Passes completion rate, although he's playing forward, we can expect them to make some errors because they are trying to attack and make goals. But 71 is quite good. It's decent. It's still not that great, but 61.
So who's better?
62% is low, coach, in my opinion. It shows.
Okay, Osimhen is better in terms of pass completion rate.
Yeah. So 62% is very low because it shows that 38% of the passes were not accurate, right? And this is very interesting. That's why we talk about data, because now when he showed, because this clearly showed that both of these players needs to really improve on that. although they are strikers. So that is why, because they've been scoring goals, so we can this aspect of the data on this aspect is being neglected. But when we play either of them, if they come and play in the Poch team, this will impact. If the passes accuracy is lower on the lower side, it needs to be improved. But again, talking about which player is better as a striker, and I said Osimhen is definitely, for me, according to me, when I looked at the stats as a holistic approach, is better. And given that even Toney's passes completion rate is also very low, so it makes for a very compelling case to look at Victor Osimhen, because for me, like, this is low, right? 62, 61% is low in my opinion. Hi, Coolest, are you there?
Yeah, go ahead. That was a knock on my office door. So, but yeah. Thank you for taking your time to, you can say, explain those to us. Let's look at this, because this is also important. We don't want a situation where dribble and offside. We don't want a situation where 1v1. We just, you can say, we just forget about it. We're losing the ball. Just in the case of Lukaku. So dribble. This is Toney. If you're paying attention. Why did I do that? What's the dribble? He attempted 40 dribbles. He attempted 1.30 per game, 68th percentile. Successful dribbles at 13 out of 40. That's a really low. So dribble success rate is 32.50. 18th percentile. He was dispossessed 44 times. Offside, just forget about the offside. But Osimhen, let's see. In total, this 32 points. So Osimhen is a better dribbler, given the numbers here. He attempted, but the volume of the dribbles attempted is high in terms of for Osimhen, but he attempts more per game, 2.37. Yeah, he attempts more per game, so that's good. Successful dribbles, 26 out of 68 in total. Okay. Yeah.
Although it looks low, but again, we have to see the kind of plays, right? Because we don't expect them to always make successful dribbles.
But it tells us something.
Yeah, it does tell there is a room for improvement. But again, because they are scoring goals, right? So all these metrics as a whole will not make a huge contribution. It depends on their structure, the way they are positioned, and how the team is playing. So more than this, in my opinion, as I've been following football, the conversion rate, I was a little bit like, when you showed me that both of the stats is low, because we expect the forwards, even though they are forwards, to, sorry, not the conversion rate, that is good, passes, the successful passes is low for both of them, especially for Evan Toney is on a lower side. So yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for that. So let's see. This one says Brentford from Constantine. There's a Brentford play on a counter mostly. I think we've read that one. Passing is always his whose weakest point. He is an Aubameyang type of striker. You're thinking about Osimhen, I'm guessing. Osimhen plays in an attacking formation against low blocks mostly. He is used to. He takes penalties too well, but yeah, the Osimhen, who is Napoli's regular penalty taker, passed up the responsibility for the second consecutive game following the TikTok video marking his miss against Bologna. How do you pronounce that club's name? Yeah, I think that's correct. All these stats, but eye test is important. Here's the thing, where it's important to pay attention to those. Sometimes if again, let's say, do you have to go watch only his clips? Clips will only show you only the good stuff the player has done. But the numbers are also, stats are from, you can say from what people look at and put the numbers together. Yeah. But I get it. You need a bit of both. You need numbers. You need eye tests to come to, you could say, a sensible conclusion.
People sometimes put down and look down on the numbers, but now, as you know, even in football, right, it's mostly about data, right? Even the coach and everyone, they have their analytics, so it revolves around data. This is very important. This is the only way they can, with technology, they can have key identifiers how we can improve, and it does show, right? Of course, also because I've been playing sports as a person like growing up we didn't have all these things. So I also believe like the human touch, the natural ability, the eye of the game is very important. But when you have this information, and then when you can use your natural ability to assess it, it becomes important. So data is
Exactly, and
definitely
it backs up what you've seen. It backs up if you watch the player play, the numbers backs up what you've seen, and the numbers
definitely.
tell you
And the
more.
number,
Numbers tell you more than eye text.
and the numbers over the period of time, if we have a good sample size like we are discussing, it does tell the truth, right? Numbers don't lie. If you're talking about numbers, why I was like talking about Chelsea's first 6 games, and when we were analyzing the data, I said I'm not too worried about data because it's 6 games, very small sample size, right? But when you have a sample size of 2 seasons and 1 or 2 seasons, it's a good enough indicator, right? It doesn't guarantee anything, but it's a good enough indicator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for that. All this and that. Let's see. Toney is a boxer striker. Osimhen is an Aubameyang type of striker. Again, low blocks. Toney fits better against attacking side. Osimhen is better. I think Osimhen anytime, any day. The numbers also show his. You could say not. You could say the. You can say the difference between the two is, and the disparity isn't that much, honestly, in how they differ in terms of. I think they're pretty much the same. But one thing we have to bear in mind is that Napoli has a functioning team. Right now, do I think we have a functioning team right now? We have a long way to go, which means to Osimhen, if he comes, he's going to need time. And hopefully, if we end up signing him, that the fans will be patient with him, will be patient for the manager to do, you could say, to structure, you can say, to drill the team in a way that will be conducive for Osimhen to be at his best, as you can say, and perform for Chelsea as he's been performing for Napoli. That is if we sign him, and it's a big if. Stats are for people who don't watch the games. Wow, I don't think so.
But I watch all the games. I watch all the games.
Okay, thank you. And coach, will next game be counted as a suspension for James? How do they know he's fit? I don't know. We've heard, and somebody in the chat, I think it was Chelsea all the way, who said, yeah, it counts. So I think that they're being a bit lenient in my opinion. So I don't know. It could have been, you could say, a suspension maybe, and wait until he comes back. This okay, we'll start counting now. So I'm not too sure what to make of that. See, that's why I said add him to the team sheet for next game to serve. So he serves the game suspension. But we heard that they're saying specifically that he misses the Bali game. So it doesn't matter to them whether he's fit enough or not. So we shouldn't worry that much. That's useless. Yeah, exactly. We laughed. Somebody else in the chat laughed. Coaches also need to allow players to express themselves. That's important too. Yeah, that's important to express themselves. Not always about their own style as coach. Example is Ancelotti and Ronaldo at AC Milan. He was focusing on pace. Ronaldo asks you, okay, wants goals and all that. So here's the more important. I'm going to round off by saying this. My argument isn't that Osimhen is a bad player. I think he's an excellent number 9. More importantly, if we're going to sign him, I get it. The manager maybe might not want to, you can say, abandon the way he likes to approach the game, because he likes a fluid front approach, attacking approach. Osimhen can still adapt, but first of all, he has to do this. He has to accept Osimhen. He had to make some adjustment to accommodate Osimhen as a traditional number 9, which what he is first. I get it. Osimhen is capable of dropping deep, participating in the play, but do I think he can play on the flanks? I'd say no. But that release of my concern. The manager, first of all, has to be willing to make adjustment to accommodate him as a sort of, again, given his profile, before trying to get him to be part of a fluid front line, not to create issues. Because if we try to change him when he joins Chelsea and he doesn't score as much as he scored at Napoli or in France, then he gets frustrated and the fans will turn against him, in my opinion. So Jerry, yes, let's hear your final thoughts before we call it a day, bro. And thank you for joining, by the way.
You're most welcome. No, yeah, people, of course, are right to give their opinion, and that is correct. And this is just a kind of an exercise, or we are just trying to see. First of all, there's no guarantee if you sign a striker. It looks like right now, let's say either Broya or Jackson or the team as a whole start scoring goals. I'm getting too excited, right? And start winning games. Maybe I mean, the Chelsea board might decide to go and wait till summer to sign another striker. So the comparison as a whole, right? Because the first thing I said, it's between Serie A and Premier League, so we have to be careful. But when we see the longevity, the stats, not even only Serie A, but he has played Osimhen in the Champions League and for Nigeria as well. So we can clearly see that his performance and his metrics, his goal scoring, and most of the departments are definitely better than Toney. I mean, cautious not to slip the name and mix it again. So in general, Toney has proved to be a good goal scorer, but as we have seen through stats, and these stats are not for a game or two, it's for a whole season, it shows that his passing accuracy, passing completion is at a very lower side. That is something in the pot side, in the pot system, is so crucial. And so it's very interesting. And both of these players are very good, right? We are just trying to, I believe, do a little bit exercise to see which player can fit in. And even though I would believe that most of us in the chat would agree that Victor Osimhen is a better striker. But then again, even with that conclusion, how Coachila so beautifully explained to us that even though we have concluded or we have analyzed with whatever stat or whatever we have, not just stat with how we saw the game, how we have been following the players over the years. Again, see, this is how we do. If we take these stats, and we also have the ability to understand. Stats are not, we look at the stats, we look at the data, okay, we'll have the player. No, then we see what is the pot system. I'm just trying to give an example, right? And then we have to see, okay, we have these stats. It just show us that this is a safer bet if we go with Victor Osimhen. But again, the question will come, right? We have to also see the integration with pot system and how it will all go in. And of course, then they assess. This is the way. It's not so easy. It's not a very straightforward thing to look at the stats and make the decision. Stats just facilitate it, give them an indication. And then we look at behind the scenes, there are many things that the people look at, right? And the salaries, the fee, the overall model, right? And so it's not that straightforward. So it's a close call, and it will be very interesting to see what happens. Personally, I hope that Broya Jackson start scoring a lot of goals, give us the win. So we might even not go for any striker in January, but let's see what happens. It's been an interesting conversation.
Yeah, and the truth remains, everything starts there. Everything starts from how well Broya, Nkunku, and Nicholas Jackson, how well they do. By the time we get to January transfer window, I don't think the club will decide to go still sign Osimhen if this guy starts firing all cylinders. And the signs are looking good. They will not do that. Tebago, if you're still there, your thoughts or anything else you want to add? So we can call it this game.
Yeah, I really understand the fans' opinion in terms of signing a striker from Syria, which we had the likes of Crespo, Shevchenko, struggled in the Premier League and stuff. Also, recently, Skamaka from Sassuolo to West Ham struggled in the Premier League. So you can understand the opinion, but again,
we're being linked to the move for Sesko, right?
Yeah, Benjamin Sesko, right? Yes. So overall, I understand the fans' opinions in terms of signing a striker from Syria, but again, if you have the right structure for that particular striker, I think the striker will do well. So overall, great show. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, I can be there soon, Coach.
Yeah, thank you so much. More importantly, if we're going to sign Osimhen, if Poch wants him, he has to be willing to make adjustments, accommodate Osimhen's profile first of all before you can say trying to mold him. You can say to change anything about his profile, in my opinion. And this brother here, Ellen Four, says I would prefer Osimhen personally. Let's see what the club does. I think our chance to sign Osimhen in January is in January, because after after it will be much harder for a lot of reasons. A lot more club will be interested in signing him, and plus there's a chance you can say you can say they move on from the social media issue. You can say the abuse or maybe whatever you want to call it. But right now, January, I think that the issue will still be at the back of his mind. I get it. He's released a statement stating how he loves the people of Naples and how they love him, how they showed him love and all that. But that doesn't mean he's forgotten what happened. I think, yeah, and he has just 2 years left on his contract. So if the longer we leave it, the more the chance of him mending you can say moving on from the situation and then signing a new long-term contract with probably a mammoth buyout clause on the new contract. So I want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you to Jerry, my bro. Jerry, again, remind me later in the day we need to have your information ready. So whenever you're on the panel, we'll add that to the chat. We haven't done that. So I want to say thank you to Jerry. Great analysis from him. Thank you to my bro, Tebago, and thank you to JC and Ngolo Dante. Much love to you. And Alan 4. Oladipupo Mesole, much love to you too, brother. I think I'm going to have to give you a call myself. And the vibe was here. Mr. Troublemaker, Oladipupo Mesole was here. Victor, Mr. OB, and Sheila was also here. Chelsea all the way. Thank you to all of you. And if I miss your name, apologies. I see you guys next time. God bless us all and bye.